Good morning, Kerry from the Soap Coach here, and today's video is all about things to think about if you are looking to start a soap and skincare business in 2025. This is very much aimed at UK people, although there will be some crossover. Wherever you are, I think you will get some value from this. I've got one mistake that I see time and time again, and 10 things that I think are really important that you need to be thinking of. This is all drawn from my own experience in heading into my 9th year with my soap business now. Also, I'm now a certified business strategist, and I've worked with hundreds of soap and skincare business owners. So I've been through so many different cycles with different people and seen what the end results were, seen what's working, seen what's not working. So I think you'll get a lot of value from this. The first mistake that I see all the time here in the UK, particularly in Facebook groups, is I've got to grips with making my products. I'm now going to get my assessments, so my chemist assessments. What products should I buy? There's two parts to this. What products should you make? Sorry, not buy. That's the second part. The first part is the assessments are actually one of the easiest bits to do and not the least important at all, because you have to have them. But in the grand scheme of things, they are way down there. I see a lot of people, and in fact, I've got a comment on one of my blogs where she's absolutely devastated because she spent several £100 on assessments, didn't realise that all of this other business stuff is going on that she needed to know about, and actually is unlikely to be able to sell a lot of products because she hasn't thought about all of that, and that will become clear as we go. What have I done here? So yeah, that will become clear as we go through this, and I'll try and remember to refer back to it at the end. So a common misconception, just having your assessments is enough to get started with your business. I don't want you to do that, because you won't ever make back the money that it's cost you to get just that in place. And also it's not sufficient even from a legal perspective. Right, so the essentials as I see it. First one is having a niche. Bang on about this all the time. If you've watched any of my videos, you'll know. Most people who start out think they're making natural skincare products with plastic-free packaging, and that's all they need. Unfortunately, that's all we're all doing, most of us, and it's not niche enough. Who are their customers? What is their unique selling point? Why should somebody buy from you and not from another shop? Why should they buy from you and not from the supermarket? It's not enough. And I'll put that into perspective a little bit. So for me, I make products which are for dogs. So probably a lot of similarities with other people's products, but they're aimed at dogs. I've got people in my communities who make bee-related products. It's all honey and white ingredients. There's people that make just natural deodorants for different types of skin, for example, or different shampoo bars for different hair types. Just those, nothing else. So brilliant niches. I've seen other companies where they just make products for problem teenage skins. So they're very much talking to and targeting the teenage market. Or you can be aiming around a specific area like Welsh, or for me, I'm in Dorset, so somebody might want to have a sort of Jurassic themed soap. But once you have a niche, you know you can then work out who you're selling to, what kind of products that you might be selling, what packaging would be appropriate for your customers, where to find your customers, and because you're not going to appeal to everybody. And having a niche makes you memorable and recommendable. That's a big word. So for me, if somebody wanted dog soap, I've got lots of people who will say, Kerry at the Dog and I, that's what she does. And so they can recommend me, and you get that word of mouth situation, which is brilliant. Word of mouth is amazing. So having a niche, it's not just having a product that you're making. You need to target it right into it, dig into it a lot more than that. The second one, I've got a whole ton of notes here, is have a 5-year plan, a clear roadmap to where you want to be in 5 years' time. You may be happy doing every weekend at the local craft fair and just getting a few pounds to cover your costs and a little bit of extra pocket money. And if that's the case, I would never dissuade you from that. Everyone's got their own requirements or expectations or needs. However, if your plan is later down the line to be selling online through a website, or you want to be supplying to stockists, you need to know that right at the beginning, because that will impact on whether you have a website, what your branding looks like, what your packaging is like. All your product descriptions, all of it hangs off where you want to be in 5 years' time. I knew that I wanted to be stocked in higher end boutiques, that kind of thing. So I started off with a really good website, e-commerce website on my Shopify. And I also paid to have my branding done and my labels so that it looked spot on from the beginning and it was very professional. But if you don't plan for that at the beginning, then you end up duplicating on a lot of the things that you're doing because you'll just have to redo it. So yeah, just have that 5-year plan. And it works for other things as well, which I won't get into too much because it gets a bit complicated. But if you want to have a bigger business, then or if you want to replace your income, etc., you are going to need some help from various tech solutions. And to do that, you really need a proper website which plugs into all those tech solutions. So it's a big picture, but have an idea at the start. Next one, understand the legal requirements. And I did touch on this at the beginning because I think, again, there's some confusion that everyone thinks that they only need assessments. And here in the UK, there is a lot more to it than that. And this is not a video that will cover all of that. I do have one and I will link to it in the text underneath. But you just need to make sure you're aware of everything that you need to be compliant with. So it's not just assessments, it's insurance, it's weights and measures, it's what you need to include on your packaging. Some products that you make may well have a different legislation. So if you're making candles or alongside soaps or dog products, for example, both of those come under CLP, which is classification, labeling and packaging. And that is a completely different set of legislation. So you need to have an understanding of those legal requirements. My next one, what's technology? I know technology is something which is the nemesis of many of us. But to grow your business and have a good business in 2025, you are going to have to embrace it, I'm afraid. There's never been a better time to get involved and get stuck into this because there's so many ways to learn how to do it and there are so many options out there for you. So don't let that put you off, but be aware that you will need to learn how to manage your website. You will need to learn how to set up an email list at some point with everything that goes with that. And maybe scheduling to social media, processes so that you can manage stock levels, AI. I'm going to include AI in this one. So ChatGPT is the one which a lot of us know about, but there's plenty of others out there. Please embrace the use of that as well. It will save you so much time. So my soap business bootcamp that I've just dropped a new module in and I've just introduced how you can use AI to help you brainstorm your niche, for example, help you choose a color palette for your branding, how to write some product descriptions. So not to get it to do all for you, but to give it some information and it will write so much better than most of us, I can guarantee it. And it will save you an absolute ton of time. And it can also automate so much in the form of things like stock control, customer follow-ups, that kind of thing. So embrace tech, embrace AI, and that will catapult you forward a lot faster. Right, let me just get down to the next. Be visible. We had an amazing talk inside the Soap Suite, which is one of my memberships, from a lady about being visible, and it's all a numbers game. Let's put this into some sort of context. If you sell, I don't know, natural deodorants, which are infused with botanicals. It's a bit random, but it's an example. It's quite niche. And you might realize that you can find 1,000 people across a year online at events and through social media recommendations, that kind of thing. Out of that 1,000 people, only 2 or 3% will probably buy your products still, which is really quite galling because it's easy to think, oh, I'll make the products and then people will love them because I love them. It doesn't work like that. It is all a numbers game. So the more you are visible, the more people you will get in front of. What this actually means is personal branding, having your face on social media, doing videos, talking, maybe going to events, going to visit stockists in person. You can't hide behind one social media post. You won't sell anything, unfortunately. And I hope I don't sound a bit harsh here, but I just like it to be real, and this is how it is. So yeah, it's no point me pretending to you and saying it's going to be wonderful, just make your products and people will come. They won't. The next one is cultivate a business mindset. Now, a lot of people struggle with this because many of you are quite creative, and I totally understand that. However, you do need to have a business mindset. So that will be around things like your pricing, your packaging, your designs. Again, if you've got packaging which you make by hand, it's going to take you forever to package up one product. It's just not viable. You can't do that. It's not going to help you from the business perspective. You'll never have a profitable business because it's not just the cost of your materials, it's time, of course, as well. So profit margins, making choices on your long-term strategy. So this is something I've been thinking about a lot recently. If you've got a limited amount of time and you want to supply to stockists, you are going to need to, and if you supply to stockists, then you're selling your products at a cheaper price. So you need to be able to make a lot relatively quickly to be able to get the numbers through. You'll need to have a business mindset. If you've got a really beautiful soap, which is all fancy in design, but you can only make one batch at a time, that is not going to work if your 5-year plan is to sell to stockists. I hope that makes sense. So that's just an example of business mindset. There's so many other aspects. It's also understanding how the whole sort of marketing flywheel works and how everything feeds into each other. And incidentally, it all starts with niche, because if you don't know who your niche is, who you're selling to, who your ideal customer is, what the branding should look like to be aligned to that, where you'll find them, what selling platforms, do they shop online, do they shop at events, what kind of stockists are a good match for your product. It's all a whole circle and it goes round and round and round. Okay, invest in support and learning. I have invested a lot of money over the years in courses, in training, in information, in education. It doesn't have to cost money. There are lots of free organisations out there. In Dorset, we've got the Dorset Growth Hub, and they do free events which are funded, which are really good, some of them. They're obviously not specific to this industry. And obviously I'm here because I teach people how to start a soap and skincare business, and I can dig into it a lot more. But there's a ton of free stuff out there as well for just general business advice. But it will fast track your growth. You'll get it right from the beginning. And it's a learning curve. We all learn constantly, and the business landscape changes, the world changes, world events impact on even our little businesses. So it's a really useful mindset to have, that you will need to spend some money in yourself and your own education and your own training, probably to do really well. The next thing, which I sort of covered already actually, selling products isn't automatic. So it's a reality check that you can't just build a website, put your products on it, and then they will sell. You have to actively market your products. You have to have sort of reasons why somebody will buy from you, what makes you unique, what makes you stand out. So you need to, a lot of the time for us small businesses, it's all about you as a person, why you started your business and how you can help other people and engaging with them. And generally we all buy from people that we quite like. We do, don't we? That's just how it works. So just bear that in mind. That's part of why I've put this video together, because actually you need to know all of this stuff in order to sell those lovely products that you're making. Sorry, there's a lot of pen waving going on. The admin is overwhelming. And I say this because I just want you to be prepared for the fact that you will spend probably 20% maximum making your products. The other 80% will be on admin, whether that be sourcing materials, labeling your products to a degree is admin, marketing, so sending emails, trying to get stockists, social media, or maybe writing blogs to drive traffic to your website, or creating little videos like these. That is the biggest part of the business. The making is the easy bit. It's the marketing, the selling, and the admin, which is the difficult bit. There's lots of tools out there that can help you with a lot of admin tasks. Everyone will find their own way on that. And this is where collaborating or joining networking also helps, because you learn what other people are using and you can find equipment, tools, strategies, resources that help you. And the last one, I mean, I could go on all day, but you're probably bored by now. But the last one is there's no immediate pay and profit for you, I'm sorry to say. When you first start out, you will have to reinvest everything back into the business, because economies of scale is just the way it works. And again, I'll give you an example. If you've put a few £100 into your business and you've made your products and you've gone along to an event and you've sold £300 worth of products, fantastic. However, A, you need to replace those products, and B, as you grow and you start to go to more events, or you start to sell things online, or you start to provide stock to wholesalers, you have to buy more raw materials in order to do that, which means reinvesting the money you make in the early days. Now, obviously, it doesn't go on forever. It's only in the beginning. But I quite often see people who've spent £300 or £400 getting their businesses up and running, just on the assessments, and then they go to an event and then they're like, oh yes, I made £200, I can pay myself. And like, how are you going to get ready for the next event? And the other thing is, you want to become more profitable as time goes on, which means buying larger volumes of raw materials, because the economies of scale works like that. If you buy 1 kilogram of coconut oil, you're going to pay a lot more for that than you will for 10 kilograms or 50 kilograms or 100 kilograms. So you do need to pay back into the business in the early days. It's not a quick fix. You're not going to be able to recoup money from the business for quite a long time if you have a plan in your head to scale to a stage where you can give up a couple of days a week, or you can have a reasonable income coming in. And I'm not talking thousands and thousands, but even if you just want to bring in £1,000 a month from your business, in the early days, you need to do quite a lot of scaling before you can get to that point. But it will happen. If you do all the work and go through this business process, it will work. Okay, so hopefully you're not feeling too overwhelmed by that. The final thing I'm going to say is, if you are watching this in December and if you're in the UK as well, I've got a challenge running in January, which is all about a sort of be a unicorn in a field of horses, is what I've called it, because I'm so passionate about the how you need to be unique and how you need to stand out, because that will change everything for you, for your business moving forward. So I'm going to help you do that with 3 videos that I'll get dropped into a Facebook group. I haven't ironed out all the ins and outs of it, although we're only a few days away. But if you want to get yourself on the wait list to get involved in that, you don't have to engage with me at all. If you're one of these people that just wants to follow what's going on, that's not a problem at all. I'll put the link to the wait list for that in here as well. And the aim really is that we look at what you do, what you're really good at, what you know a lot about, and we see how we can pin that down to a niche which you feel excited about and that you can talk about a lot, and that will help you stand out as being an expert in a particular area and become the go-to person for my example, it was soap for dogs. For others, it might be bee products, or it might be products that help with mood, for example, through aromatherapy. But it will use your existing skills, knowledge, talents, experience to try and pin that down. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. I'll put the link in below. It'll just pop you on a wait list, and then I'll send an email out to you as well. I'm going to shut up now because I've talked an awful lot. Okay, hopefully that's all made sense. I'm just going to quickly recap what you need to be remembering. So niche, be legal, have good branding. I haven't really touched on that much. I've talked enough. Have a 5-year plan, embrace technology and AI, be visible, have a business mindset, invest in support and learning, reinvest for growth. So your money you will have to reinvest, and be prepared for the admin. It's all consuming, but be prepared for it. Okay, hopefully you found that useful. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll leave you to it.